Hi, welcome to Make It with Alice, Everything Communications on this channel. And we're going to talk about the power of self expression, 3 tips how to express yourself. Well, first of all, why should we even care? I mean, we should because we have a unique voice, a unique signature, a unique personality, and we always struggle with our voice. It took me 20 years to figure out my literary voice, maybe 25. So, the same thing with our communications voice, communication style, our narrative voice, our professional voice. We have voices that we communicate through. So every day, if you're going to work or if you're acting, if you're traveling, you put on a certain face. You have a certain personality, a certain expression, a certain voice. You cannot act the same in Beirut, Lebanon, as you do in New York City. So you go adjust your voice according to the culture that you come into. So the tips for expression is tip number one, guys, is understand your audience. Who are you talking to? Who's this speech that you're writing for? Who's this book that you're writing for? Okay? When you understand who you are going to be in front of, which room you go into, then you know how to express yourself and what to express. So the how is, do I use words or do I written words or do I communicate? Do I use camera format or do I go and write a blog post? Do I have a translator or not? So the audience determines what you express and how. Okay? Now, tip number 2 is continue to refine your voice. Analyze yourself. Do a self-assessment. How did I say that? Was that correct? How did people respond? Look at I recommend spending a lot of time filming yourself when you introduce yourself. So we have speaker bios and author bios, and write several versions of that bio because you're going to use that in your professional setting when you go into a boardroom, when you go on stage. Your bio, your natural expression of who you are, your personality that goes into the biography. It's not a resume, it's what goes into your quick introduction, elevator speech, bio, whatever you want to call it. That needs to be refined because you change. As you get older, your expression change. You communicate differently. With wisdom and knowledge, you express yourself differently. You develop a voice. And that voice, like Tony Robbins, he has a certain voice. It's animated. It's very much inspirational. Oprah has a different voice, reflective, introspective, calm, grounding. So study the leaders that you love, that inspire you, and look at their voice. How do they express themselves? How do they talk? And actors do this really well because actors just go on stage and they can go from one role to another. And but they still have a signature, right? They have a certain role, a certain tone, a certain look across all movies. They can stay in the romance genre, they can go to other genre, but it's Sean Penn, or it's Madonna, or it's think of any actor, right? So it's very important that to refine that self-expression, and you only refine it by understanding what it is that you do and taking that self-assessment. So third tip in self-expression is practice, practice, practice. If you have a camera set up, talk into the camera. If you're teaching, talk to students. If you're writing, write several books. Self-expression is not one-stop shop. It's a evolving journey. It's not a destination. It's practicing like any skill, and self-expression is part of communication. Communication is something that you practice and you continue to refine. Why practicing is important? Because that when you actually have to communicate and express your thoughts and ideas clearly, it's natural. It's not like, and then you get lost in your thoughts. I do it. Oh, you can talk to the person, look them in the eyes, and speak your truth. The confidence comes from practicing. I've done like 300 or 400 videos. I've done about over 1,000 interviews. So there is a sense of calm confidence because of practice. I'm not any different from you. I just sit there and practice all the time and write in the mornings, teach in the afternoons, and study in the evenings. And that's the bonus tip right there, is study. Study, I've mentioned this earlier in the video, is study how other speakers do it, but also learn from books. Chris Voss wrote a book about negotiations. Learn how to negotiate, learn his communication style. There's so many different communication styles, and don't try to copy someone else, because I've done that. You're going to develop your own voice, your own expression, and that's an extension of your personality. So I hope these 3 tips were useful. So when you're thinking about expressing yourself and how you want to do it, think of these 3 tips. They're easily applicable because it just takes a slight adjustment in your schedule. And if you found this helpful, I would love to get your comments. And we end each episode with do the best that you can every day.